ChatGPT now does 1 billion web searches per week, and in some of those searches, it's going to start selling you stuff. Safe to say that not all ChatGPT users are thrilled about this, but for us marketers, this represents an opportunity. We need to understand how this thing works and, more importantly, how to get it recommending our products and our services. So that's what we're going to do today, as well as think about what this means for e-commerce and marketing more generally. Okay, so here's how it works. If you're using ChatGPT for certain product categories, like fashion and beauty, sometimes when you run a search, you will see products being recommended. Inside the ChatGPT result, you get these little product tiles. When you click on these product tiles, you get a list of retailers that you can buy this product from. Now, straight away, you might have noticed this thing isn't perfect. You can click to see more retailers and you get a bit of a breakdown about this particular product. You can also ask and you get a bit of a summary about the product. Straight away, you might have noticed that this thing isn't quite perfect. Like many AI tools, it does have a tendency to hallucinate. For example, just on this search, you'll notice the price listed here, $52.20, actually isn't available at any of the retailers listed. But let's not be boring and let the truth get in the way of a good story. You can also ask follow-up questions about products and use ChatGPT's ability to go and do research to learn a bit more. For example, I'm looking for a TV here. It's given me some recommendations. I can ask more information about this product. It's pretty cool, and just from these demos, you can see the potential of this to have your own shopping assistant. Okay, so the multi-billion-dollar question is, how does this thing actually work? At Exposure Ninja, we've got loads of experience helping our clients get visibility in AI search tools like Google's AI overviews and ChatGPT. The first thing to note is that this experience is product first, then retailer. What do I mean by that? You'll see it surfaces a list of products first. You then click on these products to see retailers that sell these products. And this is slightly different to the paid Google Shopping ads that we're used to seeing, which are actually product and retailer at the same time. So if you click on any of these, you just go straight through to the retailer's website to make the purchase. ChatGPT's product listings are more like the organic Google Shopping results like these, where you click on them and then you see the list of retailers. We're going to come back to this later because there is important implications for e-commerce stores. Clearly, it's pulling through product feeds, although OpenAI haven't revealed exactly whose feeds it's pulling through. If you held a gun to my head and forced me to speculate, I would say that OpenAI's relationship with Microsoft Bing probably means that there's a Bing shopping feed in here at some point. Shopify also provides data to Perplexity Pro for its shopping feature, so I'd be surprised if there wasn't a Shopify tie-up in the works if it's not already here. But OpenAI goes beyond just pulling the product feed and then does a bit more research about the products being listed. Just check out this search here, best slim but rugged iPad Air case. Now, Exposure Ninja's client Zugu case is showing up in the first position here. And that's because of some of the great work that we've done with them, helping them increase their visibility in AI search. If we just give this a click, of course, we've got the product listings and we've got all the images being pulled through the retailer's sites, but we can also see that information is being taken from across the internet, including from non-e-commerce sites. The discussion on Reddit, for example, talking about how great this case is being cited by ChatGPT here. Now, whether this influenced the original feature or not, we don't know. The fact that this is being used in the product recommendation to the customer would imply that it's worth spending some time getting conversation about your products around UGC sites, as well as traditional media type sites like Apple Insiders. This type of coverage on high authority publications helps visibility across all the AI chat tools. So we would expect that to continue. As these tools go out and do deep research across the web, the more times your product or your business is being talked about and the more favorable that coverage is, the increased chance you have of being recommended in these searches. Okay, so what else can we do to increase the chances of ChatGPT recommending our product? Whilst at the moment ChatGPT is pulling from third-party product feeds, it is also exploring ways for merchants to submit their products directly to ChatGPT. And there's an interest form that merchants can fill out if they want to get their products featured when this function becomes available. Of course, it's a good idea for merchants to include as much information on their product pages as possible and do things like mark up your reviews with schema to make sure that OpenAI's crawlers can understand these review snippets. If you're selling your own proprietary products, then obviously you're going to want to get those products featured across the internet, get them talked about, get them becoming synonymous with your target position. And don't forget that some publishers actually have a relationship with OpenAI, so you tend to see articles from sub-publishers coming up a lot. So you may want to look at, can you get featured in publications owned by those publishers if it increases your chance of being recommended in these searches. And again, talk to the Exposure Ninja team if you want some help with this. Our digital PR team excels at getting coverage for clients in these sorts of high-tier publications. ChatGPT really seems to want to help push the best products, so getting reviews across the internet and making sure those reviews are positive is really important. If you're selling other people's products, then your challenge is slightly more difficult here, because really ChatGPT is encouraging a bit of a price war. It's not necessarily the case that you have to be the cheapest for the product sale. For example, look at BrandSmart USA here, which although it's advertising $471 for the product, the shipping is $227, and it does show that in the result. So even though this product is $2 cheaper on this store rather than Best Buy, it's unlikely you're going to get that sale. But other than that, there's not much information about these retailers, which would encourage you to go with one retailer that's slightly more expensive than another which is cheaper. We marketers are really moving into an era where it's more important than ever to analyze the sentiment that these AI tools have about our brand or our products. Understanding where you want to position each of your products and your brand or your store as a whole is really important. And if you really want to stand out in a world like this, understanding what the story about your product is or why people are going to buy a certain thing rather than your competitors is so important. And tools like Profound have sprung up to help people do this. So for example, Profound has a sentiment analysis piece. Here we are just looking at the Vanguard website, which is one of the ones that we're going to be analyzing in a future video. And a tool like Profound helps you understand how these AI search tools are seeing your brand. From this, we can see that Vanguard is pushing hard on the low fees aspect. And that's a very compelling proposition to be able to take to ChatGPT, because there are going to be people that are running searches asking for low fees on their investment. Tools like this, though, also show you where your brand proposition needs a bit of work. So for example, if Vanguard really wanted to increase adoption and recommendations by AI tools, they could consider either waiving the annual account fee or changing how this fee is applied to improve some of the negative sentiment about them online. And I think as these AI tools become our personal shopping assistants, going out and doing research, looking at loads of reviews and reporting back to us, we need to make sure that the sentiment around our brand is so straightforward that these AI tools can communicate clearly to their users about why they should choose us. So where is all of this going? Well, at the moment, the listings in ChatGPT are not paid. There's no sponsorship, there's no affiliate fees. So even if you wanted to pay ChatGPT to recommend your products, you couldn't do it. However, Google's Q1 earnings showed that their revenue from search advertising was still increasing, and it's very difficult to imagine that ChatGPT isn't going to be looking at that revenue and saying, nah, we could potentially tempt some of those advertisers over to ChatGPT. OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman recently said that he would be open to tasteful advertising where OpenAI charged affiliate fees for purchases made through ChatGPT, but doesn't sell priority placements in the results. Wait, hold up. So if you don't get priority placement in the results, what is the incentive to pay OpenAI affiliate fees? What retailer would gladly hand over cash to OpenAI even if there was no advantage to be gained with placement? Another implication of this is something we've spoken about before, which is the compression of the buyer journey. So whereas before, if you wanted to buy a new product or service, you might do a number of searches online, visit lots of different websites, get lots of videos and content from different sources before making your decision. What ChatGPT is trying to do is compress that so that it all happens inside the ChatGPT conversation box. Now, for retailers and brands, this is a bit of a challenge because this is a black box. We don't know what's happening inside that conversation box. We aren't able to see the data and see how people are going on our website, how many clicks we're getting from search. This will feel scary to retailers, and it is scary because if you can't see what's happening, if you can't see the data, you can't optimize, you can't refine. What's going to happen is that retailers are going to have to invest more of their marketing budget into GEO, generative engine optimization, or AEO, answer engine optimization. That's this whole thing about getting AI tools to recommend your brand or product. We've noticed a real interest from our clients in getting them featured featured in these types of chat tools, and we're seeing that interest really increase. Now, there's really three aspects to this. First, it's being clear about how your brand or product needs to stand out. It's giving these chat tools a story to tell the searcher. Then it's about optimizing the content on your website to make it readable by these AI tools. Then it's about encouraging conversations and features about your brand, product, or service all across the internet. So on the UGC sites like Reddit, on the high-profile authority sites, the ones that tend to be featured in these answers. Another implication of this is that there will be losers and winners. This is a real changing of the guard. Just like when Google came out and some traditional retailers really didn't adapt and they died off. And then you saw other retailers that really took advantage of this, figured out how to move in this new world of SEO and made big gains. We're going to see exactly the same thing here, where some brands figure this stuff out, new challenges are born, and old traditional brands that aren't able to move with the times get left behind. ChatGPT, after all, only surfaces a small number of products and a small number of merchants to buy those products from. We might see a gap widening between the winners and the losers from this new model. If you'd like to work with Exposure Ninja to improve your visibility in these AI chat tools, then feel free to contact us through our website at exposureninja.com. But let me know in the comments, how do you feel about this new addition of shopping to ChatGPT? Will you trust the results? And most importantly, will you trust the results? Until next time, see you soon.